Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1354. 1354, and I am Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Café Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Today, Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley, plus we get to a segment called the Newsbleed section. A bunch of interesting stuff happened on the overnight.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
One of them is that I slept like a little baby, and I feel kind of
Mike's Daily Podcast.
awake today. Hey, did I say the word baby? I don't know. Maybe. And I would like to tell you about this little thing, so I'm gonna shout. You shouldn't look down. Always look up.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I'm talking about people in life. I see a lot of people as they walk around looking down
Mike's
at their phone,
Daily
at the ground.
Podcast.
But you should look up. Look at the Look at the heavens. Look at the skies. Look at the stars. Look above you. Look at the birds. Look at the squirrels that are up on the tree branches looking down at you, laughing. Hey, I was thinking about a guy I used to work with years ago named Jeremy. This was years ago at a station called Café. And, oh, look, just walking in. And how I was a matchmaker for Jeremy. Yes. Look who walked in. Hello, Michael Mash, it's Madame Rootabega. You used to have him on the air all the time. Ooh, that's right. He would appear on my show on Café quite a bit, the Santa Fe Cafe. And he was on quite a bit. He would kind of talk to the characters, make fun at them. Look who else walked in.
Hello, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
You was a matchmaker, Mike?
Oh, yes, I was a matchmaker, Mike. What I did was, there was a woman that used to call me all the time on KA. And I was seeing someone at the time. I think I was even married. I don't remember exactly when this happened, but I do recall she showed up at one of my events, and Jeremy was there. And Jeremy started talking to her. Next thing I knew, Jeremy was dating this woman for several months. And apparently it was quite a ride for Jeremy.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Quite a ride. So I was sort of a matchmaker. The picture is not of a matchmaker, though. It's of my dog, Basil the Boxer. And Basil today, in this picture, is with some sheep. And some goats, because the sheep are on the hillsides of Castro Valley, Podcastro Valley right now over in Coal Canyon. They have a weed abatement program. That's when you smoke a lot of weed and then you fall down in abatement. No, it's all the wonderful plants that have grown over all the rain we've had, all the weeds. A weed is basically a plant that no one wants. Actually, weed is a plant everyone wants, because then they smoke it. No, you know what I'm saying. The foliage that has the vegetation that has grown because of the rain and now it's dead. And so it becomes a fire hazard. So they enlist the East Bay Regional Park District, hire a shepherd to come out with a bunch of goats and sheep, and they walk through there and eat everything, and it's so cute. And they have these little electric fences that Basil the Boxer got too close to one time, and he was shocked, and he looked at me and he said, "Why did you do that?" And I said, "I didn't. You walked into that." And so now I'm very careful. But the sheep and goats eat everything. It's a fantastic program, and they only leave their little pellets all over the place. That fertilizes the ground. So Haley, who used to do a segment on the show called
The Daily Haley. The almost Daily Haley.
He fact checked me and said, hey, Justin Trudeau and that whole thing you were talking about him talking to the Pope saying, hey, you need to apologize because of all the kids that were pulled from their families, the indigenous people of Canada that were taken from... Well, Haley pointed out, hey, it was actually Canada's fault for that, not the Pope. And Haley pointed out to me that the Chainsmokers had another album before this one and had that selfie song on it. So I stand corrected. Thank you for pointing out my errata zone. Tony Errata. Wait, Eric Errata. Chips? No, it's Eric Estrada. My errata armada. It's a bunch of boats sailing across the sea. That's a beautiful sound. Oh, look who else is out here in the ocean. I just took you on a little journey from Café Anyway. We crossed the oceans and we're back. Was that fun? Did you enjoy that, Madame Rootabega? What the hell is going on here? Whew. I don't know, madam, but I do know that there's the wonderful website, mikesdailypodcast.com, where you can see all the past podcast pictures and help out the show through the Amazon link. Buy whatever it is you're going to buy. You know, I was going to buy some flea repellent stuff, ointment for Basil the Boxer, but I decided I would not use Amazon. I ended up using Costco because I have a Costco membership. But then I realized that tomorrow Costco is going to increase the fees and my renewal hadn't happened yet. So I went ahead and renewed yesterday and I think I saved $10 in the process. So just passing that along to you if you have a Costco membership, which I need to rethink if the one that I have is actually worth it. So, at any rate, if you're going to buy anything on Amazon, go through mikesdailypodcast.com. There's also the PayPal. You can help us out that way and get a special greeting from all the Café Anyway characters and a special MP3 for thee. And there's the past interviews too, all at mikesdailypodcast.com. And now the segment we call...
The Newsbleed section.
And by we, I mean you and me. Hey, a powerful bomb hidden in a sewage tanker exploded in the Afghan capital during the morning rush hour, and it killed at least 80 people, wounding hundreds, damaging embassy buildings. Big news happened on the overnight. Victims appeared mainly to have been Afghan civilians. The bomb, one of the deadliest in Kabul, coming at the start of the holy month of Ramadan, exploded close to the fortified entrance to the German embassy, wounding some staff. One of the Afghan security guards was killed and others were likely among the dead. Such attacks do not change our resolve in continuing to support the Afghan government in the stabilization of the country, said German Foreign Minister Sigmar Gabriel. Basir Mujahid, a spokesman for the city police, said the explosives were hit a sewage truck. He suggested that the German embassy might not have been the target of the blast, which sent clouds of black smoke into the sky. There are several other important compounds and offices near there too, he said. Meanwhile, Trump tweeted something strange at 12:06 last night. A strange sentence fragment. Despite the constant negative press, Covfefe. Oh, by the way, there's a really good podcast that I've talked about a lot, To the Point, where they're talking about Afghan. Do you realize it's now been our longest war? We have been in Afghanistan for 16 years now. And the whole podcast is about why we're there, why do we stay there, what's happened, the Russians who tried to take over Afghanistan back in the 80s and all the problems they had. So it's fascinating. Check it out. To the Point is the name of it, with Warren Olney. Comes out of KCRW in Santa Monica, California. Despite the constant negative press, Covfefe, the tweet read, oh, we should probably play this thing.
The Royal Trump Tweet Decree.
As this pertains to a Trump tweet. That was it. That was the end of the tweet, though. It ended abruptly, as if someone stopped him, or he stopped himself, or perhaps he never meant to send it. Covfefe isn't a typo, at least not on the part of the Washington Post. Within 6 hours, it was retweeted more than 127,000 times and liked more than 162,000 times, making it one of his most popular tweets in months. By then, it had become a massive internet joke. By around 6 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time, the tweet had been deleted, but the Washington Post saved an image of it earlier in the night. 20 minutes later, a new tweet replaced it. Who can figure out the true meaning of Covfefe? Enjoy, said Donald Trump. But by then, the word Covfefe had been trending all night. One company even appeared to have made a t-shirt with that odd combination of letters written across the front in bold block letters. Don't talk to me until I've had my Covfefe, wrote one user. What's even the point of CNN if they're not going commercial free with Covfefe coverage? Inquired another. The next time I go to Starbucks, I'm going to order a grand Covfefe. Hashtag Covfefe. The word Covfefe does not appear in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. When searching for it on the company's website, the dictionary suggests coffee, coven, cover, covet, cove, or cuvee. Clearly, it isn't an English word. Some tweets employing Covfefe offer the option to translate it from the Norwegian. Though that appears to be a glitch of some sort, Covfefe does not appear to be a Norwegian word either. Desperate for a definition, some Twitter users came up with a few, such as coffee or synonym to the Lion King's Hakuna Matata. It means no worries for the rest of your days. Some would say it's a problem-free philosophy. Now, let's see. I wonder... I think I may have heard the word in a Simpsons episode, but I can't find it at the moment.
Busted eardrums.
Sorry about that. Everything's been moved around from my places that I usually keep them. So I was talking about all the leaks that the Trump presidency has these days.
WikiLeaks! I love WikiLeaks!
He kind of brought it on himself, didn't he? And it is right here. Right here. Right...
Go!
No, that's not what I wanted from The Simpsons. Well... Oh, Nilly's here. But no Benita. I guess I'll have to walk Nilly home. Yeah, so... I'll find that and then put it at the end. How about that? Does that work for you?
All right.
Okay, good. So, at any rate, we continue on. Covfefe is the new word. Somebody posted something from High Fidelity. Everybody has a Covfefe now. Into the early stuff like hashtag BQ whatever. So many Twitter's users weighed in on the apparent typo. It created two trending topics on Twitter and a Twitter moment. The first trending topic was simply hashtag Covfefe. The other was Rosebud, which refers to the famous dying words of Charles Kane in the film Citizen Kane. Its meaning remains a mystery until the end of the movie. Rosebud. That makes the whole movie interesting. Okay, back to actual things going on. The Pope. Pope Francis will not visit the war-torn South Sudan this year, the Vatican confirmed, citing security and logistical barriers to a proposed trip by the pontiff to one of the world's most fragile countries. But it's still being considered for possibly next year or sometime in the future. Christian leaders from Catholic, Anglican, and Presbyterian churches in South Sudan visited the Pope at the Vatican in October last year, urging him to visit their country. In February, the Pope said he hoped to visit the country. Quote, "We are looking at whether it's possible or the situation is too dangerous." But the Pope's aspirations have been dashed by the ongoing conflict and ethnic tensions in the world's youngest country. South Sudan only came into existence following a 2011 independence referendum, which saw it split from northern neighbor Sudan. But 2 years later, the country was plunged into civil war in December of 2013. Despite the warring factions signing a peace agreement in 2015, the conflict has continued unabated, killing thousands and displacing more than 3 million South Sudanese. It has also led to a famine in parts of the country, which has left 100,000 people on the brink of starvation. On to something more local, and that would be Hobby Lobby. When I moved to Alabama, I'd never been to a Hobby Lobby before. My then wife and I found it, and it was like, I don't know, it was like a ray of light coming down, and anything you wanted, you could find at Hobby Lobby. Not just the hobby stuff. I mean, just anything. It was crazy. We found I know we got a bunch of Christmas ornaments there that we still have. Or I still have. Because I'm divorced. I live alone. It's so sad. Where's my sad sound effect? Okay. What happened was we would go there and buy stuff. So last month, David Green, the CEO, came to the office of the Business Insider, who wrote this article, to promote a book called Giving It All Away. He is an evangelical Christian. Hobby Lobby famously sued the U.S. government so that it would stop paying for contraceptives that Green believes cause abortions. When we asked him whether Hobby Lobby offers parental leave, he was stumped. I don't think so. We offer a lot of things. It turns out Hobby Lobby does not have a dedicated parental leave plan. And it's not a surprise. Paid parental leave, already a rarity in the U.S., is even harder to find in the retail sector. Vicky Szabo, vice president of the National Partnership for Women and Families, said, "It may be typical, but it's certainly not acceptable when you think about what it is that working people need, and particularly people working retail at relatively low wages." And now, the last story, and it's from Engadget. A startup that spun out of a Taiwan University of Science department thing is working on gloves that can translate sign language gestures into text. Such a concept isn't new by any means, but the elegance of the hardware from Yingmi Tech deserves some special attention because the company was actually founded by a team looking to build a more elegant way to control objects inside virtual reality. But it transpired that the same hardware was sophisticated enough to identify the motion of the hands, as well as bends in the fingers. Compared to other sign language gloves that have come out, Yingmi's are some of the sleekest and most elegant. The box that houses the gyroscope and batteries is pretty small, and yet each hand has enough power to run for up to 8 hours at a time. As we go outside a Café Anyway, we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcaster Valley. I thank you for listening to this wonderful show today. I'd like to sing a little song, if I may. Okay, that was my song. Next show, it is going to be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer. I want want something just like this. Beep, 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 beep.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!